Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be trying to fix a little third gear grind here on the Neon. It developed a little bit over a month ago after making some hard passes at the drag strip. So we're going to try to fix it today. And I say try because I highly doubt this is going to work. I really don't want to take the gear set out. I'm hoping it's just something simple. I don't know how well y'all can see in there, but as y'all can see, my slave cylinder is leaking out of that rubber seal where the slave cylinder meets the clutch line. Hopefully it's just a slave cylinder issue. Well, air getting into the slave cylinder issue, causing it not to fully disengage, because I really don't want to take the gear set out, especially since I've replaced quite a few of the third gear components a couple years back. So I'm hoping it's not an internal issue, but we're going to try this out first. Hopefully this solves my problem, and if not, I guess in the next video we're going to be taking the gear set out, so that should be fun. But for the time being, let's go ahead and take this cold side pipe off so we can get to that slave cylinder and start replacing this seal on here. Might end up having to replace the whole slave cylinder, especially because of this crappy DCLR slave cylinder that I bought back when I first got this car and I didn't know any better. So don't roast me too hard. We just got to remove this Carter pin right here, and then after that Carter pin there's a roll pin that we got to remove in here so we can remove this fitting and replace that little rubber seal that's in there. And now that we have everything cleaned up, I hit the little fitting with the wire wheel because it was forming quite a bit of rust. So that's good to go. I'm gonna put the new seal on there. Once you get your seal nice and lubed up, go ahead and put it back in the slave cylinder there. Make sure it's seated all the way in, and you can push your fitting in. That went in there nice and good. Now we can put our roll pin back in. And now the Carter pin, and we'll be good to go. Now we can install this back on the car, and hopefully it doesn't leak, and hopefully it solves my issue. If not, I'll probably end up having to get another slave cylinder if this still continues to leak. Alright, now before we put that cold side pipe back on, you're going to want to leave that off for now. We're going to have to bleed this. So open up your clutch reservoir, fill it up with brake fluid of your choice, and then you're going to have to stick your hand down there where the inspection hole is for the transmission. You're going to have to take your cap off, and you're going to have to manually pump it with your hands over and over and over again until you see no more air bubbles coming out of the reservoir. As I was trying to bleed the system, I kept on hearing a lot of noise, so I came down here to check out the clutch master cylinder, and let's see if I can get a good picture, good view here. And as you can see, my clutch master cylinder is leaking. So I'm gonna have to replace that before I go any further. Oh shit, if it's not one thing, it's another. So I'm gonna go ahead and order that and replace it. And maybe this will actually fix all my shifting issues at the track with it not wanting to go into gear. Hopefully so, but we won't know until we replace it. So let's get to it. Now that I got the master cylinder out, you can clearly see all the oil that was leaking out of it. Even on the clutch pivot rod, you can see all this oil that's caked on here that I'm going to have to clean up. But I'll get these cleaned up, and we'll wait for that new master cylinder to come in tomorrow, and we'll go ahead and switch them out, and we should be good to go. Alright, I just got back from picking up the new master cylinder, and since I was there, I figured I'd go ahead and replace the slave cylinder get rid of this old DCR 5-year-old plus slave cylinder, so we should be good there. As y'all can see, I already went ahead and installed all the fins we're going to need. But before we go ahead and install this master cylinder, if you have a DCR pivot rod instead of the stock one, you're going to need to do a little bit of modifications to this clutch master cylinder here. You're going to have to take the boot off, then the snap ring here, and you're going to have to remove this little cup that goes in there. As you can see, this one, I don't know if you're going to be able to see, you can see this one has like little tangs on the inside. It has one on this side and it had one on that side, but I already cut it out. That is so the stock pivot rod can lock into place. Now if you try to do this, if you try to just stick in the DCR pivot rod in there, it's going to have way too much length because it's just going to push on those tangs right there. This one's a lot smaller, so it pushes through and locks it in place. So what you need to do is take that cup out. Most people just take it out and leave it like that, but what I like to do is take it out, cut those little tangs out, and then put it back in. That way it won't have so much slop in there. So I'll go ahead and cut the other side out and then put it back in, put the snap ring back in and the boot in there, and then we'll put everything back in. Alright, now that we have the slave cylinder back in and the clutch master back in, that was a pain in the ass to get that master cylinder in through that tight spot, but we got it back in. Now we got it. Now we got the reservoir filled up with brake fluid. Now all we gotta do is bleed it. If you don't have any clutch travel inside the car, you're gonna have to start off out here by pumping the clutch fork manually, slowly. You wanna pump it in and then release it slowly to get as much air possible out. And then once you get pressure inside the cabin, you can start doing it with your foot inside. So let's get to it. Alright guys, and once you see no more bubbles coming out of the reservoir, just fill up the reservoir with the proper amount of fluid, cap it back off. And all we gotta do now is put the cold side pipe back on, and then we'll go ahead and take it for a test drive. Well guys, I just got back from a test drive with the new slave and master cylinder installed. Unfortunately, it did not fix my third gear grinding issue, but that was highly unlikely that I was going to do so. But those two things needed to be replaced anyways because they were leaking pretty bad, so they were going to eventually fail altogether. So that's good we got that out the way. So I guess in the next video we're going to be replacing the damaged parts inside the transmission. So we're gonna have to take out the gear set. So if you want to check that out, make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.